Thanks for joining this Solution Spotlight from Trinity. In this episode, we are demonstrating Trinity Scheduler. Trinity Scheduler can handle many different processes. We've delivered over 80 of these to different clients. Each one of them is different. Each one of them solves for very specific needs for each client and does exactly what they need to do to have drag and drop type scheduling for their business. Some of the features of Trinity Scheduler include a drag and drop to schedule events on a calendar, or what we call click to initiate to start a new event. You'll see what both of those means as we go through the demo. We can drag anything around on a scheduler, an event, people, equipment, anything like that to be able to help people schedule quickly. Filters are important on schedulers because there's usually a lot of data on them. So just like what's in Quickbase with filters, we employ that same logic within the schedulers. And color coding of key data attributes is so important for people to be able to see what they need to see. We also integrate with Google Maps, so those team members that are in the field that are getting scheduled can easily click on a link and see where they're going for that day, whether it's for tomorrow's schedule or where they're going to be, or their very next place that they need to visit. Our schedulers are mobile ready for your team members. You're going to see some in these where there's pop-ups to display additional information that might be not visible on the scheduler, but data that is within Quickbase. And you're going to see how we can get links to records to get right into Quickbase. And one of the last things we'll demonstrate today is basically what we call filtered views, or save filtered views, right? Where a user says, well, I need to schedule just these people. I don't need to see everybody else unless I need to help with that. This is just a short list of some of the many features we've built into the schedulers. So with that, let's take a look at a few of the schedulers that Trinity has developed over the years. The first scheduler that I'm going to demonstrate today shows the scheduling of rooms at locations. So here we have all the different rooms at those locations, and you'll see how the people or the resources come into play to be able to schedule those. So let's say I want to use this room in the Green Bay office. I can drag it onto the schedule for a noon meeting. I can select the type of meeting that is. Let's call this the Trinity Scheduler demo. And then I can select the team members that are going to be in the room. Now, if you notice, there's a max of 6 people in that room, and it's counting up as I select that. And I might go over the number of people that can be in the room, and I'm going to allow to exceed the max capacity of that room. I'm going to save that. It's now on the schedule. I want to extend that to 2:30. I originally just put it on there for an hour. And let's say we want to reschedule it to 1 o'clock. As I was doing that, all of the associated records were being created within Quickbase. Let's take a look. So there's our room, our location room. There's the original capacity. We can see there's that customer showcase and the information I entered, the start date, start time. And notice, of course, everything's been updated there to the current time it was dragged. And there's all the people that, if you think about in Quickbase, as we know it, the child records that are associated with that event. Okay. So now, if I go back here, and let's say I want to change something about the event. Let's say I want to change, hey, we don't need the accounting team in that event. So we're going to take them, but we're going to add one other team member in there. Okay. So again, it's saved. It stayed at the same time, but now if I go look at that record and refresh that, you can see now how it's changed those that are in attendance, how quickly that's done from a visual scheduler. There's also some other features that I'd like to show that we built into many of the schedulers. Let's say we try to move this meeting right here, right? No problem. Let's say I tried to move this meeting, right? It's saying, hey, there's somebody in that meeting that's in both of those meetings. You have an overlap here that you need to take care of first. Now, there are ways to override that, but in this scheduler, it doesn't allow that. Okay? And let's say the same thing here where I took that same room and tried to schedule it there. It's saying, hey, that room is not available. Now, why am I showing you that? Well, it's important when you're scheduling any type of resource, room, equipment, people, anything, that you make sure that people can't do things you don't want them to do. And we build that into these schedulers. One other thing that I'll show you here is this is showing all the different room colors. So the pins here show the different room colors. But we also could say, hey, I want to see it by event type. So now it's the pins or the colors are showing by the different event types, which are down here at the bottom. Now, we also have filters on our schedulers, okay? And these filters are based on your data attributes. Let's change this back to room colors first, okay? And now I want to just see, where my accounting team is meeting this week and which rooms, okay? And maybe I just need to schedule the Dallas rooms and need to see what's open there. So now I can take a Dallas room and slot it in properly and do the things that I need to do there. So you can see how fast and dynamic these filters are to help you schedule and to see exactly what's being scheduled. Now, of course, this is at a week. We can also look at a month and go down to the day. There's nothing scheduled on that day that we're looking at there, but the ability to see that or move to any day during that week and just schedule down to the day. So those are some of the many features that we build into these schedulers. So now let's take a look at some other schedulers. Here's one by resource, by half-an-hour increments. Team members they're actually doing evaluations here in this. We can see that these three people are in the same meeting. If I move that meeting, it knows and, of course, reschedules all of them. These type of moves can also trigger Quickbase notifications. Why? Because we're creating records, standard Quickbase records behind the scenes in anything that we're doing within the scheduler. Okay. This scheduler is a little bit different, and that's click to create. Brings up a dialog box. What type of meeting? Call a group session. It's going to ask the room. I can select my staff members that are going to be in here. I'm done, and I can save that. Now, this actually did an evaluation to say, hey, is that room booked, and is somebody overlap? This scheduler allows that to be overridden, so people can be double booked potentially. There's a reason for that in this scheduler, but you can see that these people were scheduled into that event. Okay, so a little bit different. Now, one of the other features I wanted to show you that I did not show you on the other scheduler is the ability to have personal views, okay, or what we call saved filters. So we showed you the filters down the side, and I can narrow that down to anything I need to see. But what if I just schedule, in this case we have various teams here, I just schedule the Mid-Florida team. That's all I do. Okay, so I can easily select that, set that as my favorite, and now when I come into the scheduler, that's all I see. Now, can I go out and help the other team schedule and the work that they do and everything? Yes, but my focus is just on this team, so I don't need to go in and reselect filters every time. It just brings that up now that I've set that as my default filter. Let's take a look at the next scheduler. This is more of a day-based project-type scheduler, where I can see I've got different crews that are going out. The crews are colored in this. I mentioned earlier that you'll color this the way you want to, all the attributes of it, and things can change colors based on different attributes within the data. Okay. Here, this one has some interesting ways to be able to see data. This is a 3-week view. Okay. You can also see weekday, timeline month, or calendar month. I can see this is by work type, but I can say, hey, show me my foreman and which jobs they're on across these and where they're going, or by job name and location in each of the jobs, and these are different tasks on those jobs that need to take place. So you can see the dynamic nature of these schedulers that we can build. This one shows fiber optic type installations across many, many jobs, whether they're scheduled across various days or single day type entries. We schedule the people and the resources associated with them. This calendar also schedules jobs as well in a different way, a day-based scheduling. So I can take and drag something onto the scheduler. There's our pop-up. I can select the team that's going to be on it. That's a static team. There's a more of a dynamic team where it's got certain resources already pre-planned for that, and we can add and take away those resources that are on that team and save that, and now it's scheduled that on there. And at the same time, we can also go back in there and add equipment. I'm not going to go through that whole workflow process now, but you can add equipment for that job, and it's reserved for that job as well. Okay. And then, of course, you can move jobs. And behind the scenes, it's all updating all the Quickbase records, just like we showed you on that first scheduler. One thing I will point out on this scheduler that I haven't shown yet is these schedulers are 100% built into your Quickbase application. Okay? There's nothing external to them. When Trinity is done developing this for you, you can take us completely out of your application, and these will continue to work. Here's another scheduler. This one's very interesting. It's biotech type scheduling, where I have different type of instruments that I'm scheduling against. I can also toggle this scheduler to see the resources or team members that are working against those equipment. So I can toggle that between the equipment and the actual resources themselves to see various views of the data here. Now, this is a very busy scheduler, but back to the filters, I just want to see, hey, this piece of equipment, I can then schedule additional work on that equipment, okay, and select their study number, number of plates as a biotech scheduling, save that. Now, I assign that to that piece of equipment for that day. I did not assign a resource at that point, so if I toggle over the resource, it actually doesn't show up there. But now I can go back in there, edit that, assign a resource to that. I'm going to put Ryan on there because he's in the office that day. He's done 2 experiments. Now if I toggle over to the resource, you can see that that's also scheduled for him. Okay. A couple other schedulers. This is a very complex scheduler for scheduling dynamic teams against work. And you can see it's extremely busy scheduler. I'm at, of course, a week view here. They schedule typically in a 2-day view. Okay, so you can see the data in a different way. That was an interesting ask of the client. I need to schedule today and tomorrow, typically. I can also go down to the day and schedule people. And like any of the other schedulers, if it gets really, really busy on any type of view, hey, just show me what I need to see right now. Where's that team? Do I have any slots where I can schedule them into additional work that they may need to be able to schedule? As you can see by these schedulers, we can schedule anything. And one last one, an interesting one, where it was very specific to a client need, where they needed to see all the texts that are assigned to different projects that are out there that are being worked on. They can drag these texts into these various slots, depending on the type of resource they are, the tech levels. Okay, notes come through from the scheduler. As that notes get updated in native Quickbase, of course, they show up here. So lots of different ways to be able to show these schedulers. As you can see, we can schedule anything. We've been challenged across these 80-plus schedulers that we've developed and delivered for clients. We invite you to give us a call and to see how we can help you get more efficient at your scheduling within your Quickbase application. If you'd like more information about this solution or any of the other solutions that Trinity offers, please email us at info@trinitys.com. You can also visit us on our website at TrinityIS.com.